Welcome back, sports fans. The Sports Talk is McKimmie. This is the loose cannon David McVie along with the Zen Master Mike Kimmie, and we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA. A lot happening in the National Basketball Association as, to me, last year, the NBA Finals, we had the Golden State Warriors versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, LeBron James versus Stephen Curry, and to me, last year wasn't just a battle between them, but to me, I really felt like it was a passing of the torch because the number one basketball player in the world for several years has been LeBron James. I really feel like he passed the torch last year he didn't pass it. It was taken away from him with Stephen Curry. And to start off the NBA season, we're about 2 weeks into the season. The Golden State Warriors right now are at 11-0. And Stephen Curry has just been playing just some ungodly basketball right now. He's averaging 33 points a game, 5-point increase over his MVP season of last year, but it's the way that he's playing and just dominating that has a lot of people thinking the Golden State Warriors are going to be the first team to win 70 games since the Chicago Bulls of Michael Jordan back in the mid-90s. But Stephen Curry, to me, is now the number one basketball player in the National Basketball Association. And, who would have thought 9 years ago you got a kid that was just known as being Del Curry's son is now revolutionizing the way that the NBA is being played at the point guard position. And is there a changing in the guard? In my opinion, I think there is right now, Mike.
Well, Dave, I got a couple opinions about this. First of all, I think it's too early to make that jump. I mean, at last year's playoffs, everybody was just a couple games away from making LeBron James the best player ever. If he could have, pulled off that, basically winning the championship by himself is what he would have had to do with the team that he was playing with last year. He's only 30 years old. There's no player like him in my mind. I'm not necessarily a LeBron James fan. I mean, I'm not. I don't dislike him or like him, but to me, there's nobody like him. I really like the way that Curry plays. I love his shot. But there's somebody else that I think needs to be included in this discussion. We're sitting around talking about the best players. I think we have to include somebody from the Oklahoma City Thunder, and not Kevin Durant, but Russell Westbrook. We're looking at a guy in Russell Westbrook. Sure, he averages less points. He only averages 25 points compared to, 33 for Curry, but he's pretty near averaging a triple-double. Because on top of those 25 points, we're looking at 11 assists and 8.6 rebounds. And those are Oscar Robertson type numbers. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, and I think I do agree. I think that he's probably, Westbrook is, if you had a Mount Rushmore of top players in the NBA, I think he would be probably up there right now because of his overall game. But just the way, to me right now, I think Steph Curry is the number one player in the NBA. Number one, he's shooting almost 50% from the three-point line. He's already passed his dad, who was a three-point specialist. He's already hit over 1,200 three-pointers. He had 286 three-pointers last year. But the way the Golden State Warriors are just obliterating their opponents right now, I really feel, unless injuries can happen. Sorry about that. Injuries can happen. And right now, if injuries don't happen, I think they have a legitimate shot because, they played the Memphis Grizzlies, who last year, they had a battle in the conference finals. but they blew them out by 50 points. Then they play a couple nights later, and you figure, okay, the Grizzlies are going to be back in this game. They end up winning by 30. The way that they're just beating them, and I think having a coach like Steve Kerr, who was on that 72, victory team of the Bulls back in the mid-90s, I think is going to give them guidance and to keep them focused on nights that might be an off night. But, the year that Curry had last year, I was like, how in the world can he top this? And he is topping it so far. LeBron's still right in the mix. The Cavs are 8-2 right now, and that's playing without Kyrie Irving, and they're still 8-2. It is early in the year. We're 11 games in, but my gut is telling me if Curry can stay healthy, this is going to be a very memorable season record-wise for him, Mike.
I'm going to first say if 70 is the over-under, I'm going to go under. A lot of things can happen in one season. Injuries, a lot of things can happen to a team. Like you said, only one team. We were talking earlier about the 72 Lakers won 33 games in a row, and they only won 69 games. 72, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, etc. I'm not willing to put the Golden State Warriors at that level yet, but I want to turn it around and look at maybe some really bad teams. One in particular, and then focus on one player on that team, the Los Angeles Lakers. What a fall from glory from both the team, and it hurts me because I am a Lakers fan. It hurts me to see them in the state they're in. Kobe Bryant is just in the state of his career where he's been playing for so long. We got to remember how early it was when he came out. It's time for him to go. And one of the problems is, as we talked about on the break, his contract.
Yeah, Mike, of course, and we've actually talked about this back on season 1 of Sports Talk is McKimmey, right when the Lakers re-signed Kobe to that big contract that has basically handcuffed the Lakers from having the youth movement and being able to go out and sign the free agents. Kobe right now, a couple of years ago, before LeBron really hit his prime, he was the number 1 basketball player. There was no one even close to him. However, he's starting to really, when I see him play right now, it really reminds me of Michael Jordan with the Washington Wizards. Their games look very similar. I mean, he's shooting less than 35% from the field. He's scoring 17 points a game, but he's taking 20 shots a game. The Lakers are just a complete mess, and really, Kobe, to me, needs to look in the mirror because one of the reasons they're a mess is because of the contract that he wanted that is really going to keep them from being competitive for a couple years.
And when we think about Kobe Bryant, we think about taking that last shot and having confidence in that last shot. 23% from the not free throw line. He's still solid from the free throw line, or from the 3-point line. That doesn't get it done. Those aren't near his numbers.
Well, I'll tell you something about contracts. We talked about Kobe's contract.
Contracts?
Yeah.
You want to talk contracts?
Yeah, Stephen Curry makes a third of what Kobe Bryant makes.
Not for long.
Not for long. Of course, his contract's going to be coming up to be renewed soon. But I think that says a lot right there. Stephen Curry is the 3rd or 4th highest paid player in his own team. He's not pitching a fit about it. He's happy with what he's making. Of course, he's going to make the big bucks in a year or two if he stays healthy, but it seems like, he hasn't made a contract situation where technically he could. He is an MVP. He could, make a big deal about his contract, but he's not. It seems like that selfless play is really contributing to the team, whereas Kobe's selfishness on the contract is really hurting the Lakers, Mike.
Yeah, I think the Lakers have some talent, some young talent. Russell. They've got Julius Randle. Nick Young. I would be all right to see him get let loose here, but Jordan Clarkson's been a nice asset to that team. So they got some young talent. They just need some free agents to round it out, and hopefully after Kobe leaves, they'll be able to do that. But we need to move on.
Yeah, our director's telling us, Mike, we got to take a commercial break, but we'll be back with our rants of the week to finish out another exciting episode of Sports Talk is McKimmie.